The A6M50 was a variant of the famed Mitsubishi S6M0, which was the primary carrier-based fighter aircraft used by the Imperial Japanese Navy during the early years of World War II. It was powered by the Sakai 21 engine, a 14-cylinder radial engine capable of producing 1,130 horsepower, which allowed the aircraft to reach speeds of up to 534 km per hour. The A6M50 was armed with two 7.7mm Type 97 machine guns mounted in the wings and two 20mm Type 99 cannon mounted in the fuselage, with 60 rounds per gun providing substantial firepower for a carrier-based fighter. The Zero was particularly notable for its long-range capabilities, up to 1,800 kilometers, a remarkable feature that made it the ideal aircraft for long-range maritime patrols, raids and engagements far from home. In 1940, the first Zeros went into operation to bomb Chongqing, where it shot down many Chinese fighters. In 1941, during the attack on Pearl Harbor, 521 Zeros were active in the Pacific. The Japanese deployed the A6M during the Second Sino-Japanese War. A short burst of fire from heavy machine guns or cannon was often enough to bring down the fragile Zero. These tactics were regularly employed by Grumman F-4F Wildcat fighters during Guadalcanal defense through high-altitude ambush. Heavy losses of pilots at the battles of the Coral Sea and Midway dealt the Japanese carrier air force a blow from which it never fully recovered. The Zero was involved in many critical battles, including the Battle of the Coral Sea. By 1944, the A6M had fallen behind Allied fighters in durability and speed and was regarded as outdated. During the final phases, it was also adapted for use in kamikaze operations. Japan produced more Zeros than any other model of combat aircraft during the war. Many surviving World War II Japanese Zeros are put on display in many museums around the world, including Australia, China, Germany, Indonesia, New Zealand, United Kingdom, and United States.
Enemy aircraft confirmed. Commence combat. Clear to engage. Target down.
The Messerschmitt Bf 109 G10 was a key asset in the Luftwaffe's inventory in World War II. Designed to counter the increasing threat posed by Allied air superiority fighters, the G10 combined improved performance, firepower, and maneuverability to give German pilots a capable weapon in the skies. It was powered by the Daimler-Benz 605 AM liquid-cooled V12 engine, capable of producing around 1,475 horsepower in its supercharged form. This engine gave the aircraft a top speed of around 660 km per hour, making it one of the fastest fighters in the Luftwaffe's arsenal at the time. The G10 was equipped with an MW50 boost system, which allowed the aircraft to gain extra power for short periods, providing a significant advantage during combat. It was armed with two 13mm synchronized MG 131 machine guns with 300 rounds per gun mounted in the engine cowling and a 20mm MG 151 cannon mounted in the nose with 200 rounds per gun. It was also equipped with the option to carry up to 250 kilograms of bombs or rockets for ground attack missions. The first Bf-109 as served in the Spanish Civil War, becoming the main fighter of the Luftwaffe. During the Battle of Britain, it was pressed into the role of escort fighter, a fighter bomber, as well as a photo reconnaissance platform. In 1941, the improved Bf-109F proved to be an effective fighter during the invasion of Yugoslavia, where it was used by both sides. It was also used in the Battle of Crete, the invasion of the USSR during Operation Barbarossa, and the Siege of Malta. It was supplied to several of Germany's allies, including Italy, Finland, Hungary, Romania, Bulgaria, Croatia, and Slovakia. More aerial kills were made with the Bf-109 than any other aircraft of World War II. against the Soviets, Finnish Bf-109Gs claimed a victory ratio of 25-1. The Soviets lost about 21,200 aircraft to combat in World War II. More than 2,500 Luftwaffe fighter pilots were considered aces in World War II. The Bf-109 is the most produced fighter aircraft in history, with a total of 34,248 airframes produced.
Enemy aircraft confirmed. Commence combat. Clear to engage.
The F-6F-5 Hellcat was one of the most successful carrier-based fighter aircraft used by the United States during World War II. Developed by Grumman as an improvement on the earlier F-4F Wildcat, the Hellcat proved to be a dominant force in the Pacific theater, achieving an outstanding kill-to-loss ratio and playing a critical role in securing air superiority for the US Navy. It featured robust construction, a hallmark of Grumman's designs, earning the nickname the Ironworks. The Hellcat was powered by the Pratt & Whitney R2800 Double Wasp, a 2,000 horsepower radial engine that gave it a maximum speed of 391 miles per hour. It was equipped with 6.52 caliber Browning M2 machine guns with 400 rounds per gun and could carry up to 4,000 pounds of bombs or rockets. The Hellcat's wings were designed for carrier operations, featuring folding mechanisms to save space on aircraft carriers. The Hellcat first saw action against the Japanese in 1943 when fighters of USS Independence shot down a Kawanishi H-8K Emily flying boat. Soon after, Hellcats engaged Japanese aircraft over Tarawa. In 1943, Hellcats were engaged in day-long fights with many Japanese aircraft, including A6M-Zeros, claiming nearly 50 aircraft over Rabaul, New Britain. The Hellcat made a significant contribution to the British Fleet Air Arm in the Pacific War. Hellcats were the major US Navy fighter type involved in the Battle of the Philippine Sea, where so many Japanese aircraft were shot down that Navy aircrews nicknamed the battle the Great Marianas Turkey Shoot. The F-6F accounted for 75% of all aerial victories recorded by the US Navy in the Pacific. US Navy and Marine F-6F pilots flew 66,530 combat sorties, dropped 6,503 tons of bombs, and claimed 5,163 kills, which was 56% of all US Navy Marine air victories of the war, at a recorded cost of 270 Hellcats in aerial combat, boasting a kill-to-loss ratio of 19-1. The F-6F became the prime ace-maker aircraft in the American inventory, with 305 Hellcat aces. The P-38L Lightning was developed for the United States Army Air Corps by the Lockheed Corporation. Known for its distinct twin-boom design and central fuselage, the P-38 was a high-performance aircraft that saw service in nearly every theater of World War II, which led to its nickname, the Fork-tailed Devil by German pilots. The booms housed the engines and the tail section, with a central fuselage that carried the cockpit and armament. It was powered by two Allison V1710 engines, each producing 1,600 horsepower, which allowed a top speed of around 414 miles per hour. The P-38L was heavily armed for a fighter, with 450 caliber M2 Browning machine guns mounted in the nose with 500 rounds per gun, and could carry up to 4,000 pounds of bombs or rockets. It had a relatively low wing loading, making it stable in turns, though pilots had to account for its larger size and weight in close-quarter dogfights. After the attack on Pearl Harbor, P-38s joined the 14th Pursuit Group in San Diego to provide West Coast defense. In 1942, P-38s began operating in the Aleutian Islands in Alaska. P-38s were first involved in North African combat operations in 1942. A little-known role of the P-38 in the European theater was that of fighter bomber during the invasion of Normandy and the Allied advance across France into Germany. On March 1943, P-38s flew top cover during the Battle of the Bismarck Sea, in which 8 Japanese troop transports and 4 escorting destroyers were sunk. The P-38 was used most extensively and successfully in the Pacific Theater, where it was used in a variety of roles, especially escorting bombers at altitudes of 25,000 feet. The P-38 became infamous for its role in the shooting down of Admiral Yamamoto, the commander of the Imperial Japanese Navy, in the famous Operation Vengeance mission on April 1943. The P-38 was credited with destroying more Japanese aircraft than any other US Air Force fighter, having downed over 1,800 Japanese aircraft, with more than 100 pilots becoming aces.
Ridgeback and bow and arrow flights. Concentrate on the hostile escort fighters. All other units, attack the heavy command cruiser. What the hell?
That laser?
Watch out for those UAVs. UAVs have a laser weapon on their noses. For a remote control drone, that thing's attacks are way too lethal. If I had to guess, I'd say the boss of those butterflies is that lead craft. Butterfly laser. No dice. Any missile that goes near the number 1 butterfly gets shot down by UAV lasers. It's like some kind of crazy sci-fi force field. Man, all this shouting is screwing up my voice. Take down the UAVs first. Man out. We'll have to shoot them down one by one. Damn it! There's too much radio noise.
The Red Baron and Blue Max are the 2 primary biplanes featured in the classic 1985 shooter arcade video game Sky Kid that appears in Ace Combat Infinity. Their names pay homage to famous World War I fighter aces the Red Baron, Manfred von Richthofen, and the Blue Max, a nickname referencing the Pour le Mérite, a prestigious German military honor. The planes are equipped with single-shot cannons to eliminate enemy aircraft, anti-aircraft artillery, and other hazards. The Red Baron is packed with an impossible number of bombs and can wipe out whole enemy fleets and ground forces, while the Blue Max, characterized by excellent turning capabilities, can avoid incoming enemy attacks with beautiful mid-air turns.
Data link finalization will take a while longer. Taking fire! Good kill. Target down. Custom enemy with visual movements here. Plane is loaded with customizations. Tank destroyed. Good kill. Flash 1. Wingman destroyed an incoming enemy. Good kill. Our fleet is attacking the enemy fleet.
The Supermarine Spitfire was one of the most famous British fighter aircraft of World War II. It was a single-seat, single-engine fighter with a low-wing monoplane design. Its elliptical wing was one of the most distinctive features, offering both excellent maneuverability and low drag. The Spitfire was powered by the Rolls-Royce Merlin 66 engine, producing 1,470 horsepower, allowing the aircraft to reach speeds of around 657 km per hour. It can be armed with 3-inch Browning Mark II machine guns, 20mm Hispano Mark II cannon or .50 M2 Browning machine guns, and could also be equipped with bombs or rockets for ground attack missions, further enhancing its multi-role versatility. The Spitfire served a crucial role in multiple theaters of World War II, including the Battle of Britain, the Mediterranean, and the European theater, used extensively by the RAF as well as Commonwealth countries, and the Free French Air Force. In the Mediterranean, the Spitfire blunted the heavy attacks on Malta by the Regia Aeronautica and Luftwaffe, paving the way for the Allied invasions of Sicily and Italy. The Spitfire also served on the Eastern Front with the Soviet Air Force. A total of 1,185 aircraft of this model were delivered through Iran, Iraq, and the Arctic to northern Soviet ports. United States Army Air Forces operated Spitfire Mark 11s from November 1943 to April 1945, flying long-range reconnaissance over Europe. Spitfire Mark 8s took part in the last battle of World War II, involving the Western Allies in Burma. The Spitfire became the first high-speed photo reconnaissance aircraft to be operated by the RAF. Sometimes unarmed, they flew at high, medium, and low altitudes, often ranging far into enemy territory to closely observe the Axis powers and provide an almost continual flow of valuable intelligence information throughout the war. The Spitfire continued to play increasingly diverse roles throughout the Second World War and beyond.
What? The Javelin squadron's been shot down? Hey, they're coming. What's that? Sky Eye, give me a report. I'm getting multiple strong heat sources, believed to be laser UAVs.
Butterfly master.
You gotta be kidding me. I thought we shot that guy down.
He's mine.